Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen.
Hi everyone. I'm returning to a band I've listened to before today, and that is Rammstein. Rammstein is coming back. And, well, I've listened to two of their pieces. Early in my journey, I listened to Ohne Dich, which I really loved and enjoyed that piece of music. Not too many months ago, I listened to Deutschland, and that also was, I mean, it's an impressive piece of music, and there's a lot to dig into there. Now, there's been one showing up in the comments ever since I first listened to Ohne Dich, and everybody was saying, you have to listen to Mein Herz, Brennt. And that's what I'm going to do today. In fact, I'm going to listen to it twice, because Vlad tells me that, and I've read in the comments as well, that there's a piano version. But first I will listen to the original, I suppose it's the whole band, and then Rammstein themselves created the piano-only version, which means it's, maybe you could call it a cover, but it's not a different band covering their music. It is Rammstein covering Rammstein. Let's just leave it at that. And we can argue about the details if you wish in the comments, but I think it's fair enough. So let me read a bit about the piece and then we'll listen. The song first appeared as the opening track to the band's third studio album, Mutter, in 2001, and was used as the opening track for concerts during that era. The song was released as a single in 2012 to promote the then upcoming video collection, Videos 1995 to 2012. A piano version of the song was released as a single on the 7th of December of 2012. The song's lyrics involve a narrator describing the terrors of nightmares. The opening line of the song's intro and chorus is taken from the German children's TV show Sandman, meaning Mr. Sandman, which provided children with a bedtime story. This Sandman, it's not such a big character in the US, but it does show up in classical literature, classical music, and traditional folk stories, especially in the German parts of Europe, German-influenced parts of Europe, and the idea is, the name came from the idea that when you get sleepy, your eyes start feeling scratchy, and so Mr. Sandman you feel Mr. Sandman putting sand in your eyes, and of course, everything builds from around there. The song's narrator appears as a darker version of the character on this TV show. Well, this is going to be interesting. Let's see how it sounds.
Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Hab es aus meiner Brust gerissen. Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht, die Augenlider zu erpressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt!
Okay. I wouldn't call this a children's bedtime story anymore. They've done something with this. It is no longer, at least not for a little child going to bed. Oh. No, it's rich, it's dark, it's ominous. Even the opening, I was thinking, what is that? Some ominous rumbling coming. what does this mean? It's a bit scary. Well, intro did say a darker version of the Sandman character, but it didn't say a terribly dark. This is really quite dark, but it has a richness to the quality, kind of like dark chocolate. Well, not surprising. Germany is the land of chocolate, right?
Tag erwacht, ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt! Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht. Dämonen, Geister, schwarze Feen.
I don't even know if that's a bass down there, but whatever is rumbling down there, it has this pulsing now, almost, well, it's not quite a heartbeat pulse, but everything is a little bit warped. This is the land of nightmares, I suppose, right? And so, is this something coming at you, or is this your heart beating, or is this your feeling of breathing? But it's really low in pitch, and so you kind of have to use your imagination to figure out what it is. And then, of course, there are all the strings that are coming and going, and it was interesting to hear the way they are being used in a very tense, to create a feeling of tension and agitation.
Dämonen, Geister, schwarze Feen. Sie kriechen aus dem Kellerschacht und werden unter euer Bettzeug sehen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt.
This is agitation.
Mein Herz brennt. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht und stehlen eure kleinen heißen Tränen. Sie warten, bis der Mond erwacht und drücken sie in meine kalten Venen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt.
Of course, it's Till's voice, which he has a particular power to his voice, a particular vibrancy. And I've heard only 2 other pieces sung by him now, but they were kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum. With Ohne dich, it was lyrical and almost German leader-like. On the other side, there was Deutschland, which I suddenly heard another side of his voice. This is somewhere in the middle, and he's moving from one range to the other. And even having just heard those 2 pieces before, it starts to sound incredibly familiar to my ears. I can hear that this is his voice and this is his style, both sides of the spectrum, but he does them both incredibly well. And also the band sound, when it launches into this, well, right here. Let's listen to this again.
Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt
launching into this.
Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament.
It's almost like it's almost like you have a whole armada of tanks coming at you. That's the sound quality, and there's the power within it, the mass of sound, but at the same time, it's not unpleasant. It doesn't grate on me. There's a balance and enough of a mix of tonal qualities within this sound that it feels very orchestral, like let's say a Beethoven symphony coming to a grand climax, or even a Bach orchestral suite, and one of the movements where everything just feels like it lets loose, or let's say organ. In fact, Vlad and I were just talking about the organ yesterday. I was making him listen to something that featured organ. It's not his favorite instrument. I said, come on, it's so much like the big rock music sound when you have the electric guitars just roaring away. That's the organ sound. And he said, it's different. I said, come on, it's the same. Well, true, it's different. But to me, it has the same impact, there's a very similar quality to it. And that's what I hear when Rammstein goes into this grand onslaught, is that sort of massive orchestral, massive symphony chorus, massive organ with all the stops pulled out sound, or as I said, an armada of tanks coming at you.
Bis der Tag erwacht, ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt.
Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht, die Augenlider
Poor kid. He's going to be terrified of falling asleep.
pressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament.
Mein Herz brennt. 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 Mein Herz brennt.
Oh dear.
Mein Herz brennt.
It's so interesting the way that it suddenly, the end, well, even before we got to this piano bit at the end, I didn't know it was coming. And I was thinking, this piece sounds incredibly cinematic. It has that quality to it where it could be part of a movie soundtrack or something, where you have the power and then you have the darker, calmer moments. But there's it feels like, well, and now that I'm saying that, I remember that Rammstein puts a lot into their music video clips that they release with the songs. I don't know if this one has a video clip, but surely it must. Surely it must. Vlad is saying, of course it does. So it almost sounds like it was created with the idea of a video clip in mind. It has that cinematic quality. But it really sounds like it was created with the idea of having a video in as part of the finished product. It does, but it's a great piece of music, and this ending, it's one of two things, or perhaps both at the same time. It sounds like the music that would play during as the movie credits scroll, but at the same time, it sounds like somehow this nightmare is fading off into the distance. You hear it echoing, and it still gives you the shivers, and it still frightens you, but it's receding, and, well, it fits the piece, doesn't it? Even though it's such a change of style at the very end there. Okay, well, let's set Rammstein against Rammstein and see what the piano version sounds like. So there's the voice in here as well.
Aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Hab es aus meiner Brust gerissen. Mit diesem Herz hab ich die Macht. Die Augenlider zu erpressen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt.
It's so interesting hearing the voice against the instrument and the space between them, pitch-wise, I guess I should say this way, because with the orchestral version, the band version, there's a lot more depth to the sound, and so the voice is more blended throughout the fabric of the musical range. But here, to have the piano playing just way up here, and we have a little bit here, and I was listening to see, because it's gradually descending, the music is gradually lowering, but it never quite got to the point where the voice and the instrument met and gelled together. They're very separate. It kind of paints a visual picture, though, of, okay, it's nighttime, twinkling stars, gentle, easy sleep. And so it makes the voice more sinister because it sets it against that contrasting sound world.
Schein am Firmament, mein Herz brennt. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht. Geister, schwarze Feen. Sie kriechen aus dem Kellerschacht und werden unter euer Bettzeug sehen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt.
And it took that long for the voices to meet, and they came together in the kind of what's titled the pre-chorus, which the translation is, "Little children, listen now. I am the voice from the pillow. I brought something to you, a bright light in the heaven sky." It's perhaps the most innocent sounding, the least frightening sounding section of the lyrics, although in context, it really, you're on the edge of your seat. It's like, oh, this doesn't sound good. What is this bright light? Is this the voice from my pillow? This is not what I want to meet on my pillow. But this is the point at which the two instruments came to meet. And I was also fascinated with the section before this meeting point. And as I was listening, I was thinking, I should try this with the harp. So I'm going to back the music up just a little bit and play along, and then we'll find our way through the rest of the piece. But I think this is going to be fun.
Am Firmament, mein Herz brennt.
This is really pianistic here.
Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht. Dämonen, Geister, schwarze Feen. Sie kriechen aus dem Kellerschacht und werden unter euer Bettzeug sehen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht. Ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich hab euch etwas mitgebracht. Ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt. Mein Herz brennt. Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht und stehlen.
I'm thinking, it felt so good playing the harp along with it. It really fit well, at least to me. I was just thinking as I'm listening to this voice, how would I set a harp cover of this? And it's fascinating hearing how it's been adapted by Rammstein themselves for a single instrument. It really gives a different quality than the band version. It doesn't have that same, as I said, the same tanks, wall of tanks coming to run you over sort of thing. This is still dark, but as I'm comparing it to some other classical type pieces that I know, I've heard some piano voice music that is much more frightening than this sonically. Well, the lyrics are rather scary, but I'm talking about the sonic, the musical impact. This is more mysterious. This feels like you're lying in the dark and you hear this voice, and it's like, is this good? Is this bad? It's kind of this mystery, this scariness about it, but it's not terrifying. Not as terrifying as the band version, at least to my ears. The one that's really coming to mind right now is Erlkönig, which is Schubert's setting of this poem about death coming. The story is a father is carrying his son through the forest, and the child hears a voice, and he's saying, "My father, 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 he's coming for me." Anyway, to hear a singer handle that piece well, it leaves you breathless and devastated at the end. This one is not so terrifying as that one with the piano version. And it's so interesting to me because I'm looking at the lyrics, I'm listening to the sound, I've listened to the original band orchestra version, and now I'm listening to this, and I'm starting to create a different image in my mind of more of a mysterious, even playfully sinister, playfully scary, as if this monster, this dark Sandman, is not an evil creature. He's just playing games with the child, and the child is almost in on it. Almost the child is scared, but it's kind of like this fascination with lying in bed, as I used to do as a child, and try to picture what sort of monsters might be under my bed. It scares you, but at the same time, you know that you are doing this to yourself. I don't know if anybody else did that as a kid, but I did. So that's the picture I'm getting with this cover. And I'm thinking, it feels so good to play the harp with it. If I were to create a harp cover, what would I do? And I'm almost going for a child's voice singing the Sandman character, which really changes it even more. But this is all coming to me as I'm listening to the piece. Anyway, let's get through the rest of this because we're not even to the end of it yet.
Sie kommen zu euch in der Nacht und stehlen eure kleinen, heißen Tränen. Sie warten, bis der Mond erwacht, ja, und drücken sie in meine kalten Venen. Nun, liebe Kinder, gebt fein Acht, ich bin die Stimme aus dem Kissen. Ich singe, bis der Tag erwacht, ein heller Schein am Firmament. Mein Herz brennt, mein Herz brennt, mein Herz brennt.
I love those bass.
Mein Herz brennt.
It's nice. It is. It's beautiful. There's something, well, this is the kind of music where you can't quite call it easy listening music. There's something meaty. There's something you really have to take hold of, sink your teeth into, even in lovely, relaxing piano accompaniment like this. I'm thinking about his voice as well as I listen to this. He doesn't shine so well against piano as he does against sustained instruments, strings, guitar, the long sustained notes. It's as if he needs that sustain to help him sustain his own voice. And it's so fascinating to me to hear him set against solo piano. But it lends a certain quality to the piece, and it's nice. It's just interesting to hear his voice in this setting, in this context. I really enjoyed these piano octaves and leaping down. This is the moment where the piano is the closest we'll come to the full band. And it's a simple technique, but essentially, using range and octaves, we have and then suddenly all that wash of sound, that mass of sound, is suddenly reduced to this again. Oh, sorry, here. Have to pay attention. And then we hear this beautiful melody bringing us to the end. Peaceful, calm. Again, it's as if the nightmare is receding. And now it's almost as if it's a slow rocking motion, because if we were to speed it up, it would be similar to what we've been hearing above. But now it's slow motion. And it's such a massive difference from what was just a handful of bars before, with the crashing bass, which also had the treble piano playing as well. It's an exciting piece pianistically. And I love the fact that it's really not technically terribly difficult. In other words, an early intermediate student, provided their hands were big enough, could play this very easily. And that's nice to have this sort of emotional meat to sink into, to explore at a fairly early stage in one's pianistic musical journey. And I'm curious to hear, I don't know, maybe there are some amateur pianists watching my channel who have tried this. I'm curious to hear your experience with it. And as I am exploring this idea of a cover, I'm still undecided about what I would do about the voice, because this piece, should I do it as a solo harp piece without voice at all? How would I handle the voice? What kind of voice would I go with it? Should I go with a different instrument? I'm just playing around with these ideas because it fascinates me, and I guess this is going to go on my list of covers to create at some point in the future when I have the time. When I'm not using all my spare time reading stories and singing songs to my little girl. But this was a lovely listening experience. So this was kind of a Rammstein versus Rammstein game experience. And I have to say, if I'm going to weigh them against each other, it's a tie. I loved them both. And I love the fact that they're both so very different. The same piece presented in such different ways and with such a different impact, such a different end result, such a different listening experience by the same band. And as I said, I've listened to 2 other pieces, opposite spectrums. These are kind of balancing the middle, but still opposites in many ways. And it gives me a better feel for the overall band's voice, as well as an appreciation for the really varied output that they can produce, the emotional variety, the sonic variety, the tonal variety, the musical variety. Even though it's the same piece, there are so many differences between the two. And I really appreciate that, and I enjoy seeing that kind of, I could even say, I guess I wouldn't say versatility, but variety within one band, one group of artists. And that to me speaks to their creativity, to their creative skill and ability and imagination. And yeah, it was nice. So Rammstein, good. Rammstein, good. Both of them, very good. Very nice. And, well, that was mein Herz brennt. I'll see you soon.